Hello, everybody. This is Victor here from Trend Following Trading for Beginners, and here's my weekly update on my sample trading portfolio coming up next. Hello, guys. Welcome back. Just another week now. Last week didn't do the weekly update because I was busy doing the 100 episode podcast as well as something else came up mid of the week, so I apologize. This week we have quite a bit of things going on. Basically, the Dow Jones just go yo-yo, up and down, up and down, up and down. And I said before, the closer we go closer to the U.S. election day, and the more we actually going to see the blame game going on, basically, and it's quite funny in a way because the stock market go yo-yo up and down. Donald Trump's obviously has always been put himself first to say here how wonderful he had done job he had done as a president in U.S. and give the stock market really come up a lot tax debate and those kind of stuff, rebate and stuff. Yeah, but then it shows himself later on at the end of the presidency that he cannot handle the coronavirus, and Black Lives Matters things just continue around, and then how a lot of underlying problems that within America are just showing up, like how the police generally treating black people, and also the court system, how when white officers, shoot black, either female or male, and the court seem to somehow decide the officers don't need to be charged at all. Just really beyond me. But basically, that's what is actually going on at the moment. But the market don't seem to care and just go up and down at the moment. And Monday, so I've gone down 500 points. A bit of scare of second lockdown, which is sort of progressive is doing UK. My child's gone back to university, so lucky it's not in the university that have been locked down, but they're all worried. They even in Bath University, where I stay here, two university here, the main university, Bath University here in the UK, is talking about if the pandemic, if the COVID-19 sort of spread, they might not even allow all the kids to go home for Christmas or just to stay at school or stay at university accommodation kind of thing. So it's quite scary for them. And then obviously there's obviously the spat continue between U.S. and China, and it's not helping the index either. But then, like I said before, last couple of weeks the market Dow Jones seems to be going down a bit, and is having this big yo-yo up a couple of hundred points and dive 500 points, and then up a little bit and down 500 points. That's what's happening last week. More and more. So on Mondays minus 500 points, Tuesday up 140 points, Wednesday minus 525 points, Thursday got up about 200 or 300 points, and then lost it, and also up like 50 points or something, and then Friday gone up 360 points or something in that area. So just yo-yo, going up and down a lot. But then as far as we're concerned, the main thing in the market is really the gold that I've been saying. This 1910, 1920 is quite a strong support because it was the previous height before, back in the 2011 area. But that don't seem to be holding at all. Now it have broken, I think on Wednesday or something. It just basically broke down. It did try to go below on Tuesday last week. But then we came back up to 1900, but then it just lost it on Wednesday. It just continued to stay low. So now the next bid basically is around 1850 at the moment. But I think it's just in a way for me it's healthy. We treat because you've gone up quite a bit from what I initially think was 1300, that kind of area in the start of the year, and then gone up to 2000 or something. So it's like 20-30% increase, and then come back down maybe 5-10%. Is even 20% still quite normal, because I think there's a long-term possibility of gold going up. But definitely this year's gone up already, and next year I think it's gone up again. So a little bit of retracement of the uptrend is good. So let's help the bull run a bit more to stay longer. That's just my view. The other thing, obviously, is Donald Trump's actually, allowing WeChat to be used in US or not. And the other thing also, of course, is Baidan, TikTok, basically. I mean, on the whole, you see how Donald Trump and the U.S. government basically say, these China apps or Chinese equipment, Huawei, etc., are dangerous. They are storing U.S. citizens' information and you send it back to China, to Chinese army, whatever Chinese government, and do something. And we don't want those kind of stuff happening. But then, what it then shows up is, if we allowed TikTok to work in what you call in US, will be fine, so long as the US industries or company have a big majority of it, have a say, and whatever the sale is, have to pay a lot of money to the US Fed as well. I think that's just a lot of bollocks as far as I'm concerned, pardon my language. But I mean, it should be, if it's bad, if the country think Chinese equipment or applications or whatever software, hardware it is bad, they should ban it. Just like look at what India does. Maybe a bit extreme, but nobody says anything because India say that's not good, these apps are not good, all these other apps, quite a lot of other apps they think it's not good, and they basically banned it. You're not allowed to download it, not allowed to have it at all in the country. They didn't say anything. All they say is just national security. But that is what they actually mean it. Okay, but for US, it's more like, oh, it depends. If I can actually have a big majority of that company controlled by American hands, then I'll be fine. And that sort of stuff is silly. And also, if you have to sell it to American, the Chinese sell it to American, I have to pay us a big fee. And it's just silly. And then the WeChat basically is saying, okay, I'm going to ban that on last Sunday. Today it's supposed to be. Yes, some people in US challenging the WeChat ban, but then now the government actually say, oh, so long as you use it for communicate with other people in China or doing business using WeChat in China, then that'll be fine. So if a app is a national security concern, they just ban the damn thing. So why suddenly go back and say, certain conditions you're allowed to use it? Well, what do you mean that certain conditions? The certain conditions still involve American users, right? Or Asian American or people of America doing business in China. And so if that's bad, then why don't they use it? And the other thing is, why don't they just follow what India does? Ban the damn thing. And then at least everybody's keep quiet. Fair enough, China might jump in down, but at least it's consistent what the U.S. government is saying. These apps or equipment are bad, therefore I'm not allowed to use it within America, which is fine. That's the train of thought. But then don't go and say 1 minute is national security concern, next minute, think about it. Maybe this group of people that could be allowed to use. Because of what? I personally feel it's because of the election coming up. The other thing is, if they touch us, from Huawei, they touch Huawei, ZTE, and WeChat. But why the hell the U.S. government didn't say Alibaba was bad? Now, Alibaba is basically a platform, a bit like eBay, but allowing people to sell and buy things with Chinese manufacturers. And it's been operating in the U.S. for quite a long time, and also has stock actually in the U.S. stock, NASDAQ as well. Now, Jack Ma has always been talking about big data and stuff like that. Depends really where the data is stored, maybe US, maybe in Asia or Europe or somewhere in China, I don't know. But then why didn't US government say Alibaba, which has, got quite a lot of data for quite some time as well, and always been using, big data information to try to, and enhance your services and stuff. Why didn't it say that? To say this Alibaba app is national security concern. It's been collecting a lot of information, and they even accuse Alibaba, the Jack Ma is communist, part of the Communist Party. But in China, you have to. That's part of it. If you're doing business, if you're doing big, you have to be part of the Chinese government. That's just the way it is. But then, why didn't America say Alibaba is supposed to be banned as well? I mean, there's some stupid news. I think Mr. Fox or CNBC or something to try to go around and try to get Donald Trump to hint if it's go ban Alibaba or not. I think about a month or two ago, and then Alibaba shares drop or not. But they actually say there's many. Donald Trump said there's many companies in America that Chinese company that American can do something about, like what they've done to Huawei or TikTok and WeChat kind of thing. But they never directly mention Alibaba. Simply, my view is because Alibaba as a platform is helping a lot of American buy and sell things over the platform to Asian countries, especially in China, and that is a vital market for U.S. export, so to speak, and also to buy anything from China itself. So a lot of small, medium-sized businesses uses Alibaba to buy things, trade with the Chinese counterparts in China. So that's why, because they stopped it. They didn't want to hurt a lot of the China businesses, and therefore hurting the vote, so to speak. So from down on, you actually also see how bad it is that U.S. government may say one thing, but actually whatever they do is whatever they think is good for them, that kind of stuff. Do whatever they like, so long as don't hurt the bottom line, continue with the dominance, so to speak. And it's just very sad, and this sort of shows up as well in the World Trade Organization. I think a couple of weeks ago, on the 15th September, World Trade Organizations basically said after China complained to the World Trade Organization about U.S. tariffs on the Chinese goods importing to America, the World Trade Organization ruled Tuesday 15th of September to basically say the U.S. imposed tariffs on Chinese goods and services is illegal. And basically just say, U.S. should, or China and the U.S. should work together, but basically just say, U.S. is bad. In a way, it's disappointing for U.S., but it also says something internally that I think World Trade Organization internally has got a lot of unhappy voices, Canada, Mexican, the EUs, who basically has been working really well with the U.S. government in the past, but then Donald Trump comes in, basically just torn all the agreement from previous U.S. administration into shreds, and then we do it again, and then and then claim it's going to be so much better, but hardly any much differences. But always threaten its counterparts, its partners and stuff. So a lot of people in the UN and the World Trade Organization basically just doesn't want to give support to America and try to use this this tariff ruling to basically just tell US that it stop bullying them, and they basically indirectly just tell US to back off, don't be so nasty to them. And it has been quite bad to Canadian. I mean, the US has been quite bad to Canadian, and so is the Mexican, and also to European as well. I think the more if U.S. government continue to do this, I think it just could be more and more for other people to gang up together to go against America. You already seen China and Russia and Iran doing things together, buying selling services or other products using their own currencies, and then I think this just only continue, and it's not going to be interest to the American government or the American businesses at all. But I think that there's two things that always stands out on that one is basically dominance of American policies, foreign policy, whatever it is, and also the U.S. dollars, because I think the U.S. dollar is always is the biggest threat for them, because if people stop using or start to lose faith and not using as much U.S. dollars, they're getting worried the stability of U.S. dollars, because the U.S. government print out so much money and so much U.S. dollar and send it around the world. If for some reason nobody wants to or start to reduce the reliance on U.S. dollars, then they might not be able to constantly just print more money. Other country may not even want it, and then there's also possibility of what you call China and other countries as well, in Russia together, basically just ignore U.S. dollars, don't use them, and they're actually doing it now. Just by bartering, using their internal currencies. But then this feeling spread to, let's say, Africa, let's spread it to Asia, maybe Europe. Then Americans, US dollar days were really bad. We probably will be ending very soon. But what can American government do? If this happens, and they might go, unfortunately, maybe happen like what Russia used to do, or USSR default on the rubles, and then they default on US bonds, payments, and stuff. Then it'll be really really bad for the US currency. But that is just like probably a long shot for now. But then there's that scare, just really worry about the US government. Remember, the Europeans were trying to put euro on par as US currency as alternative. Then you got subprime happen after that. You might say, that's totally different things. They're not related, but why is it so much coincidence? And also, I think Syria, that's why it was trying to trade the oil and stuff in other currency instead of U.S. Currency, Libya, that kind of thing. And then look at how the country is, in war and turmoil. But it just might feel that slowly and surely we see a lot more of the how the U.S. dominance and try to protect its dominance, and especially on the U.S. dollars, and they bully other people. But I think the other things that's not being talked about much at the moment, my personally, is last week, I think a couple of months ago already said it, grain. Grain prices sort of slowly moved up and have gone above the 200 days moving average and have paused a little bit, but it's gone up again now. So I basically say, if that's the case, it's gone up like this, what does that mean, basically? And I said it before, we worry about, not enough food going around with the locust things that's sort of still. I believe it was actually still happening. And that hasn't been actually reported much because COVID-19, of course, that cover it's just dominant news, and the spat between US and China dominant news, and so forth. And of course the Black Lives Matter issue. But the food is not enough being sent around us. I think that is actually is happening. I mean, there's how often you see a leader of the world to go around in their own country and say, stop wasting food. President Xi in China did, say that to his own Chinese people, to say, stop, having banquet, wasting food and stuff like that. I mean, the Western world has been wasting food all the time. Look at how we recycle our food waste. It's quite bad. We get used to it. But this year, I think particularly worrying because COVID-19 stopping a lot of people working, a lot of farmers having problems, and also, of course, you see the way the domestic consumer consumptions and then business consumption is quite different. So the agriculture produce for those markets slightly different as well, and they don't really merge together. It's not a centralized system. They can supply both segments, but they have their own separate pipes, and then so a lot of food got wasted for the businesses, supplying for the businesses, but there's just not enough going on maybe for the consumers, so to speak. So I think the grain prices is something to worth watch out for. It's already gone above 200-day moving average, so I think it might have some legs. Funny enough, though, hogs, pork bellies haven't actually moved up much. It gone up a little bit and come back down again. So I think basically grains is something that you should look at as well. The other thing I think need to watch out is October coming now. So I think this CARE Act in America sort of stopped today. I think starting from tomorrow, basically the bailout to stop companies in America to hold on to staff, to stop it from firing those staff and make them redundant, coming to an end. American government still not having an agreement yet with the Senate and stuff to actually pass a neo stimulus bill to help the company keep hold of the staff. The same thing for UK as well. At the end of the day, it's like how long can the government help local companies to hold on to the staff? They have come to a point that government can only do so much, and then I think we will start seeing a lot more, people getting laid off from October onwards, and it's very close to the US election, and so they'll probably see a lot more volatility coming around in the US stock market, which basically lead around the world anyway. So the stock market around the world for next month or two, I think. Next 6 weeks basically before the election, it's going to be quite volatile, especially October. It's generally a month that there's a lot of hiccups. Not necessarily having a crash every year, but then there's a higher chance for some reason in October. So better watch out on those time. And basically that's the end of my podcast for this week. And next is the update of my weekly share portfolio coming up next. Okay, first off the bat is Apple. Since last week, I haven't done an update, so this is basically compared to what happened 2 weeks ago. So for this week, anyways, short term is a sell, medium term is neutral, long term is a buy. So still hanging on there with Apple, it's going up and down a little bit, but long term is still a buy. Short term though is a sell. Next is Amazon. Short term is a sell, medium and long term is both neutral. Australian dollars against US dollars, well, that is sort of like a sell at the moment for short term. Medium and long term is still neutral. On the Australian dollars, really it reflects the US dollar index. It have US dollar, I think, went down to the index, gone to like 91 or 92 or something, quite low, and decided to jump back up to 94 at the moment. It might even go up to 90 back down to 96, but like I said before, the wall of money that US Feds have been printing doesn't really help the US dollar, so we just have to see how things are going. But Australian dollar, basically, the recent upsurge is paused, and basically now it's going a bit sideways and coming down now, so we just basically have to see what's going on. So probably a demonstration of a short term of a US dollar strength at the moment. How long will it last? Who knows? We just have to keep your powder dry. Basically, just follow your systems and don't guess. If you guess, you never know what will happen next. The market always like to do silly things that's out of ordinary, and then you get kicked out, so to speak, and not follow the trend and miss the trade. So stay on the trade on that one. Next is Brent crude. Short term is a buy, medium term is neutral, long term is a sell. So is WTI. Short term is a buy, medium term is neutral, long term is a sell. So this one, crude oil sort of like after it reached the 200-day moving average for both Brent crude and WTI, it sort of like slowed down a bit, but short term wise it recovered a little. Medium term is neutral, long term is still a sell on that one. So I think about $40 for the crude oil and stuff, I think it's about right at the moment. So with the pandemic still raging around the world, people are not traveling internationally. I don't really see this curve, go do too much here. Will it go back down to minus 37, minus 100? I doubt that, but I probably I think we're very slow, like slow coming out, probably slow going back down, but I don't think it'll be too low because there's still trade going on, but it's just very jittery at the moment between countries, sending people around the countries as well as people driving, some businesses opening and closing. So definitely there's some demand better than total lockdown around the world, but the demand is very patchy at the moment, so watch out. Next is DAX in Germany. Short term is turned to sell now. Medium term is neutral. Long term is also neutral. So DAX very much what from in Germany, France, and Europe, and as well as UK as well. So a lot of lockdown, second wave, third wave, whatever wave you're talking about. But it's just inevitable. People coming out from lockdown start to mingle each other, enjoying the sunshine, so to speak, and come together, and then the fire just go pass around, doesn't matter which country you're from, and then obviously COVID-19 just go raise its ugly head. So I think the faster, the earlier we have a vaccine, the more people have more confidence to come out. Me basically is definitely one, especially for my children. I think a lot of parents would be worried about for the child as well as for the older parents, elderly who might be in nursing homes and who have other sickness, and just really worry about what COVID-19 might affect them. So let's hope we have a vaccine soon. Next is Dow Jones in US. Short term is a sell, medium term is neutral, long term is still neutral. So this downward trend is continuing. Dow Jones. One thing worth mentioning, I think I spotted like about 3-4 weeks ago, but it's slowly coming to into form now. 2 weeks ago, and shows up a bit last week. Basically, it's a head and shoulder formations in Dow Jones. Now for trend following, I don't really care. I just follow my trend system, and when I see chart patterns, I basically just additional that I treat that as additional information for me to basically watch out what should I continue shorting or not. It's just more confirmation. But as far as I'm concerned, if the head and shoulder things actually works, it might go down to the Dow Jones anyway, 26,000. Maybe slightly lower than that, just using the head and shoulder formation and do the calculation from there. But who cares? As a trend follower, I just follow the trend. Short term is a sell. I basically just say, okay, sell short term then. But something to watch out for. So if you try to buy the dip, watch out. There may be a lot of ups and downs this month, especially with the U.S. election coming up, but the long-term things is still short-term. Short-term is sell, medium and long-term is still neutral, and it's not really making headways up and either way, either go up or go down at the moment. So just have to watch out. Next is FTSE in UK. Short-term is a sell, medium-term is neutral, long-term is a sell. So not much happening here. More or less going sideways, slow death kind of thing. The COVID-19 shut down and quite a lot. I think BBC News was saying about half of the countries, people's in UK is under lockdown or something, one way or another. Basically, in general cases, the restaurant have to close by 10 o'clock, so no pubs after 10. But it doesn't stop people buying drinks from off license, basically from corner shops and just drink on the street. Still, people still gather around. There's additional restriction to say not allowed to gather more than 6 people in a group from 2 households, that kind of thing. But at night, how many policemen has been around to actually keep that observe that? I mean, this pandemic showed up 2 things basically. I think personally, I think of it. I mean, this is in UK. I'm not sure about another country. Mainly is our medical establishment basically been cut back. So is the police as well. So it's a lot of nurses are doing a lot of what doctors have done. GPs as well, general practitioner doing what other doctors are doing. They have to work a lot long hours, and so there's less of them basically going around for 100,000 people per 100,000 people in UK, so to speak, and their workload is like really heavy. So it's the nurses, and the same thing for the Bobby on beat, so to speak, the policeman. And then now they asked to suddenly the big load of virus, pandemic, and then policing of how people interact with each other. It just for me, basically, in my view, it's just really short-sighted. In UK anyway, and now they try to pump up with having more people going into the both nursing as well as policemen, but I think a bit too late at the moment personally. Anyway, next is gold. Short term is a sell, medium term is neutral, long term is neutral. So like I said before, gold is a bit funny. This for the last month or 2 has gone sideways. 1920, 1910 seems to be quite good support, but then it's finally broken last week, and it's gone down to 1850. But I think this is healthy. I will say fair enough. Trend following, just short go in the moment. But I think personally, it should still be there's some more legs to go next year as well. So we just basically wait and see. But if whatever I do, I always follow my system. My system says short term is a sell, basically just sell that for now. Next is Hong Kong index, Hang Seng. Short term is a sell, medium term is a sell, long term is a sell, so basically sell across the board. COVID-19 wave 3, whatever you call it, is happening in Hong Kong. China's issue with the security law, that kind of things, and spat between U.S. and China on Taiwan doesn't help either. So we just basically we'll see how things go. Funny how America suddenly go around Asia. They say, we will support you to go against China because China's been bullying you guys. Especially look at South China Seas, how China has been grabbing so many sea shorelines, so to speak, and also building man-made islands and stuff, claiming water lines for fishery rights and oil rights and stuff. But China have been doing that for the last, I think, 5 years or so. Nobody says much. And now suddenly American come over and say, yeah, I'll help you. Did they actually help before? No. Suddenly now feel be a good time to raise this issue and then say, I'll come over and help. But how much can American actually help? I think a lot of this just is a BS hot air for me. It's just the election year. So just see what Donald Trump can... I think he's just trying to milk the situation. As far as I can see, America is not really going to help Hong Kong Chinese, is it? They're not going to help Taiwan either. But they will actually make it difficult for China to unify Taiwan and to help people in Hong Kong to, one way or another, try to help them. America is not going to help them at all. Just trying to make it difficult for China to govern Hong Kong, as well as try to have a reunification with Taiwan. Think of it politically. Basically, China and Hong Kong is more like two sore points for Europeans in general, leading by U.S. to basically poke at China to cause China pain. But one way or another, China is basically is more or less having quite fed up, having enough. So sooner or later, if America just want to go to war for Taiwan, I think it's not going to happen. By the time Taiwan China was already on the Taiwanese strait and on the Taiwan's land. For the American actually come online and then try to bomb China and help out, I don't think it's going to happen. But who knows what will happen so far, because as far as I'm concerned, as being Chinese here in UK, I also feel very concerned for China, basically, and Taiwanese people as well, because there's so much going on with the Chinese warplane being flying around Taiwan, and then American warplane did a few stop apparently in Taiwan as well. So it's a show of strength between the two forces, and then who's gonna get hurt? I think probably not China or U.S., most likely Taiwanese, and just worry about the Taiwanese people. Just hope this never comes to pass. Next is in the list is Nasdaq. Short term is a sell, medium term is neutral, long term is a sell. So Nasdaq basically lead the way to go up. Now it's also lead the way coming down. So we just have to see what happens. One thing though for Nasdaq, I think people, which I did mention earlier, I think people ought to start looking at the semiconductors. Now my view is this, very simple, very logical. This supply chain issue that COVID-19 shows up. So it's not just what you call the semiconductors issue, industry, also car parts and clothing and everything else. But semiconductor, especially in this case, because the trade war between China and US, and which forces Huawei, in this particular one, to start its development quicker, to speed up its research and development, which they spend a lot of money in anyway on 5G. They'll talk about 6G or so. And if US is basically forcing China not able to buy some of the chips and not allow China or Huawei in this case to use Google's or Google Map, whatever, what do you think the Chinese will do? You think Chinese just go lie down and just take it, like Iraq, just lie there, Afghanistan? No. They'll just go do his things. China is just going to continue to do his thing, which is roll out 5G. Huawei is continue to buy American chips if the American are allowed to, but in the background, I would bet you, $1 for a donut. Basically, they will continue and put more money on the research and development and come out with their own chips, semiconductors, and other Android-like or whatever software to use to power their phones, and then use in Southeast Asia around kind of thing. At least for their own, Huawei phone. And if that happens, then I basically say adios to a lot of semiconductors companies in America, and basically say like Intel, Qualcomm, that kind of thing, because they sell a lot of those semiconductors and chips, computer chips to China and manufacturers over there. If Huawei basically just turn around and say, okay, thank you, but no thanks, I'm not buying any more American chips now, and because I can develop their own, maybe be not as advanced, but if they can continue and supply themselves, why not? Then what's the point going to America and let American government to play its tricks and stuff, and as well as Google's and other things. So I think it will come to a point next 5 or 10 years you'll see China actually see this as a way forward, just like it learns how to cope with export, turning export into more internal sales, lead kind of industry and market, instead of selling things into Europe, selling things into America back in supply market 2007 2008 time. So I think it will seem same thing here now. People talk about the China, moving away manufacturing from China. I think overall what happens then is the people in basically in China will basically just do similar thing. If America or European doesn't like them, they just try to manufacture themselves or go to somewhere that is welcome, into the arms of Africa maybe, and definitely into Russia as well. So China's just going to lie down and just let people do things. So people might not want manufacturing being done in China, but China is also might not want to be more that much reliance to other countries, especially in Europe, in America, or Australia, and therefore this globalization that Jack Ma has been talking about, that has been helping American and Europeans and basically the West in general for the last 30 years or so, sort of come to an end. And I hope there's no Cold War, but all these small things definitely got to happen, and one way or another it's got to affect the stock market. So watch out on semiconductors as far as I'm concerned. Next is Nikkei in Japan. Funny enough, where everybody else is down, Nikkei short term is a buy, medium term is neutral, long term is still a buy. Still up there, still doing well. So a bit odd, even though you have we have a new leader, you have COVID-19 problem. Olympics couldn't start this year because of COVID-19, but still the market's still gone up, so a bit strange, but who cares? That is what happened in trend following. You think the market should follow America, stock market in general, but it didn't, just have its own local climate, so to speak, and then going up itself instead of going down. So this kind of thing you need to be careful of. So always follow your system, don't just follow what the news say or what your head say. Follow the method. Follow your system. Next is silver. Short term is a sell, medium and long term is a neutral. So just following what the gold does basically. I just basically see whatever gold goes, silver also follows. So I just have to basically just watch out. But I also feel silver probably have more say next year. But we just have to wait and see what happens. Next is US dollar against Chinese yuan. Short term is now turned to buy. Medium and long term still a sell. So there is a little bit of weakening of the Chinese yuan over the last couple of weeks or so. So it's doing a little turn. With this turn actually turn up? Who knows? But we just have to watch the space. Next is US dollars against Japanese yen. Short term is a sell, medium and long term is still a sell. So basically just across the board, US dollar weakness, Japanese yen strength. Is it really strength? It could be. People will be more happy maybe with the new leadership, and therefore there's the yen strength gone up as well, but also as well as the stock market in America is sort of downturn a bit, so people flight to safety basically gone to Japanese yen for now. Next is British pound against Japanese yen. Basically short term, medium term, long term is sell. And After that is British pound against US dollar. Short term is a sell, medium and long term is neutral. So for British pounds has weakened a bit, quite a lot, significant, I think, ever since US dollars turned from 92 onwards and coming back up to 90. I think went down to as low as 91.50 or something, but then it come back up. I think it touches as high as 94 last week or something. So it's basically US dollar across lots of other major currencies. You've seen a turn of the chart, so to speak. For British pound, it's no difference. So it's short-term basic bond turned from a buy to sell basically for the last couple of weeks or so. But also COVID-19 doesn't help, and with the pounds basically weakening, we just have to wait and see. And also the other thing is in about next 2 months or so we have Brexit, December. So we still haven't got much of a agreement with Europe, so most likely will be a hard exit, and that's gonna be another big hoo-ha for British pound as well. But I think long term will be good for pound because it's cheaper currency, therefore cheaper for its export and so forth. More people come to UK to invest or come to travel. Hopefully by then next year or so the vaccines happen. That'll be good, I think, for British industry, British market in general. So just watch your space. Next is Bitcoin. Short term is a sell, medium long term is neutral. This is a bit disappointing. Bitcoin has been trying to break back above 11,000, tried a couple of times last couple of weeks, but just failed miserably. Couldn't even go up much. Once you reach around 11,000, you just go, lose his faith and just come back down. So stuck between 10,000, 11,000 at the moment. We just have to wait and see, but yeah, definitely it's a bit of disappointment as far as I'm concerned. Next is TLT ETF to iShares 20. Short term is a buy, medium and long term is neutral. Same as more or less 2 weeks ago. So basically, a bit more people go into the bond market when the stock market is generally tanking a little bit at the moment, not much. Last but not least is Tesla. Been very, very volatile, seeing it split and losing from before, after the split, about $450 or something, and back down to like 320. Lost like 25% within a couple of weeks, and then suddenly big got back up again. So short term, medium term, long term is a buy for Tesla. But I think Friday or Thursday they have a call about its future projection and stuff. They'd also talk about the big battery day. It doesn't seem to be very it's good for the market, so to speak. And the market sort of on that don't seem to like it and just tank a little bit. As far as I'm concerned, I like Tesla. Personally, I like the car. The battery definitely have legs. I think it's not just about cars, probably other applications as well, especially for us, especially now we have, a lot of people have jobs. If we can, self-generate electricity, less bills as well. And basically that helps, alternate generation of power and so forth as well, to think of that way. But on the other hand, if oil is cheap because nobody using it, why continue use alternative energy or power, solar panel, this kind of thing when oil is so cheap? So and instead of spending all this money, so there's two way to look at it. But I think Tesla on its own, you have like the software itself, the battery itself, as well as the car. And I think it's going to be quite good. And the concept here is not just going to be a car, it'll be a truck, school bus, as well as could be train. It should be on train. Why not? It's on a fixed weight wheel to go from A to B anyway, and I think it'll be much more safer personally than people driving. Basically, this is the end of the podcast of this week and the update. And basically, I just want to say, overall, October is coming, so be careful. January, October is quite volatile. We also have U.S. election this year. The U.S. election a bit more tedious. We have obviously Donald Trump's in the RAM, and we all experience how he is. Say one thing one day and they say something else later on, and try to be, don't remember what he has said. A lot of controversy. But also see what I said a couple of weeks ago as well. I don't see this year the election going to be very smooth. It's going to be a lot more challenging. I don't think anybody on the 4th of July or whatever, or 5th of July will know who the new president is going to be. I think it's go to court will stop, just like Bush going to be. So if that's happened, the market's going to be a bit more volatile, drag on a bit. But who knows who will be at the end of the day who going to lead America? But I just say God bless America, and I just hope a good leader comes out, or at least Donald Trump, if he get reelected. Calm down, don't be so rude, and start to do a lot more, put more emphasis back home, and look at the Black Lives Matter stuff. Look at how the policing, how it's been governed, and also the laws, how bad it is against the black people. I just hope he actually put more energy into the country, helping the American fellows, than going around telling the world how to do things. Basically, that's the end of my podcast for this week. I will speak to you next week. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.